Welcome to Year 1 Mechanics on Chapter 9.4 on the Suvat Formulae, second lesson. Continuing from our previous lesson about Suvat Formulae, we've learned about two formulae, V equals U plus AT, S equals U plus V times T over 2. So, as I've told you last lesson, these are given in the formula booklet. But as a rule of thumb, it is very useful to remember them off by heart. You're going to learn 5 formulae. You've learned the first 2. A third one, okay? V squared equals U squared plus 2AS. Fourth one, S equals UT plus a half AT squared. S equals VT minus a half AT squared. Once you've copied it down, I would suggest you maybe spend 2 minutes cover the 5 formulae and see if you can remember them. See if you can, if you want to copy it 10 times or try to, remember it. Okay, memorize it. Give yourself 2-3 minutes, try memorize all of them. Okay, and see if you're able to use the formula without looking at this list later on in examples or the practice question. All right, let's have a go. Example: a particle is moving horizontally from A to B. Okay, so from A to B, we can draw a little diagram. We usually use a ball, a circle to represent a particle. If you like a rectangle, feel free. From A to B with acceleration 5, so A equals 5 meters per second squared. The particle's velocity at A is 3 meters per second and B is 18 meters per second. Find the distance between A to B. Actually, before I move on to example, I do want to say, some of you might be wondering why, if you ever wonder, why are there 5 formulae? There's Suvat, S-U-V-A-T, 5 letters, 5 formulae. Is that coincidence? No, it's not. If you look at it closely, each formula has one of the variable missing. For example, the first one is missing the S. That means the second one is missing the A, the third one is missing the T, fourth one is missing the V, and the fifth one is missing the U. So depends on the information given to you. Okay, whichever one we're not given, we can use the formula without that variable. That's why it's not coincidence. Okay. Also, just to make you aware, okay, to use Suvat formula, we need 3 pieces of information. Okay, with the fourth being unknown. Okay, we need 3 pieces of information. Okay, with fourth being unknown. 1, we don't care. Okay, so 1, we don't need at all. 3 of them we need to know, and the last one is the unknown. Okay, so let's have a look in here. So let's go back in here. So very straightforwardly, when you find distance, you can imagine its displacement. S being found, has to be found. U is 3, B is 18, A is 5. So T we don't need. So do you remember which formula we're using? The one without T? Yep. V squared equals U squared plus 2AS. That's what you should be thinking in exam. Okay, so you should be able to recall the formula quite quickly, which one to use. So V is 18 squared equals U squared plus 2 times 5 times S. Now, for those who have a really nice and neat handwriting, the opposite of it, ugly and monstrous handwriting like mine, be careful. Your 3, your 5, and your S. Okay, they all look the same especially when you're in a rush in exam or you're pressurized. So 18 squared is 3 to 4 equals 9 plus 2 times 5 is 10, 10S. We cannot put them together, so subtract the 9 over, becomes 315, so 315 equals 10S, divided by 10, S equals 31.5, meters. Okay, right, next one. If you still can't remember the 5 formulae, I suggest you go, pause video and you spend 2-3 minutes. These are very useful minutes for you to get a piece of paper, write down the 5 formulae, okay? Write them down, recite them until you remember them off by heart. Example, a particle is moving horizontally with constant deceleration. I talked about this last lesson. Deceleration means negative A. Okay, at time t equals 0, remember this means initially. All right, the particle passes through O with speed at 30 meters per second, traveling towards a point A where O is 20. Find the times. It's not English test, but it is a detective. You're acting like a detective. When you say what times, means that you're expecting more than one answer. So more than one answer. So question A, Suvat. So S, we know S is 20 meters. U, initial velocity, pass O at 30 meters per second. Find the times, we want to find T. Acceleration, A, 4. But deceleration, so it's -4. V, we don't care. So in here, we want to work out the formula without V. Do you remember which one it is? Yep. Dora the Explorer tells you S equals UT plus a half AT squared. S is 20, U is 13, T is unknown, plus a half times -4 T squared. You will see this becomes a quadratic. Yeah, that's right. So you bring everything right hand side. So I'll do a half times -4, which is minus 2T squared, plus 13T minus 20. Okay. You want to rearrange it however you like, whenever. But I would say is do the minimal so you can put in a calculator. So you put a calculator, you get T equals 2.5 or T equals 4. Now, some of you might be asking, why two values of T? Why do we have two T values? I want you to think about that. Okay. See if you remember what I said about last time, very similarly. The reason being is we start the particle at O, okay, the point O. All right. Let's use a rectangle this time for the particle. Okay, just not to confuse you with point O. And then we're traveling to point A. Okay, but don't forget we're decelerating. So we're slowing down. So we start from 30 meters per second, okay, to, I don't know, a velocity. Okay, but what we know is we're decelerating. So we're decelerating. When we decelerate to the point, okay, we travel in here, okay, maybe at some point, the velocity equals 0 meters per second. But we're still decelerating. Then what do? We roll backwards. Okay, that's why we have two values of t. Okay, the first time it passes through A is at t equals to 2.5 seconds. And the second time we pass through A is what t equals 4 seconds. That's why we have two t values, because we're decelerating to a point where we've passed through A the first time, okay, and then to a point where we literally stopped at 0 meters per second, but we still carry on decelerating in a way that we are moving now backwards. Therefore, we come back to A again. Okay? It's like you run past McDonald's once, and then after a few steps, you're thinking, oh, I want the nuggets. And you start to roll backwards and walk into McDonald's. That's what exactly it is. Part B. Wrong color. Find the velocities. Again, more than one answer. Velocities. So we're trying to find V. So find V. V squared equals U squared plus 2AS. Now you might be wondering, can we use another formula? There are more than one formula we can use because we've got more than 3 pieces of information in here. Okay, now we know T is 2.5 or 4. Yes, you can, but I'm going to show you step by step. Let's say we use this formula. So V squared equals U squared plus 2AS. V squared equals 13 squared plus 2 times -4 times S 20. Put in the calculator, which you should get as, actually in my notes, I use a different equation, a different formula. So 2 times -4, and I put in the calculator, I get 9. All right, so V equals to velocities. Hopefully, read the question, it reminds you the two answers. Square root 3 or -3 meters per second. Makes sense we have two answers because we've got one velocity passing through the first time and then the second velocity coming back a second time. Okay, alternatively, okay, we can also do V equals U plus AT. So V is unknown, U is 13, A is -4. But what about which T value do we choose? Use both. Okay, use both. So T is 2.5. So V equals to 3 meters per second. But also, if you use this formula, you also need to do V equals to 13 plus -4 times 4. Use the other two T values. Okay, so you get V equals to -3 meters per second. Oh, per second. Okay. Part C, find the value of T when particles returns to O. Question to you, can we use the same Suvat table? No. Why? Because now the journey we want to measure is from O to O. So these tables the first table we did was from O to A. If one returns to O, we need a new Suvat table because we're now measuring a different journey from O to O. Okay, how do we do that? Well, how do we do that? So SUVAT. S. Remember that example I told you about when I leave home from McDonald's and then come back home, come back from McDonald's to home, and we feel, even though I was told off by mom, but my displacement, my argument was that my displacement was 0. So from O to O, displacement is 0. Okay, so you want to make notes in here for yourself. Okay, start and return, same point. Return, same point, at same point. So therefore, displacement is 0 meters. Okay, so that's these little notes for you to remember it. Okay, in exam, hopefully you remember. Let's do more question. Initial velocity, we start with 13. Okay, we start with 13. Now, but final, is that 13 as well? Because we start at O, the speed is 13. No, the final velocity is not 13 because we're talking about the speed when it comes back to the same point. Okay, so therefore, this final velocity is not 13. And if you think about carefully, the direction is opposite as well as different. If we start with positive, then we come back, you can see the arrow come back, it will be negative. So we know final velocity is definitely not 13. What we know is A is the same, which is -4. Now, what's the question asking? The question is asking for the value of t. So value of t. Which formula to use? The one without v. S equals ut plus a half at squared. S is 0, u is 13, plus a half times -4t squared. So 0 equals -2t squared plus 13t. Put in a calculator, you should get t equals to 0 or 6.5. And of course, 6.5 is the answer we need because t is 0 means we started with that. That's right, we started when t is 0, the particle's at O. 2.5 second at A, 4th second at A, 6.5 second at O. Okay, so that's the answer. All right, 6.5. Now, if you're happy with this, okay, have a go at this practice question 1. Okay, pause the video, have a go at the question. Whenever you're ready for the answer, you can press play. Here are the final answers. A is 2.5, B, time is 4.8. If I got it right, move on. Move on to the exam question next page, or below the notes. I can't remember where exactly it's placed. But anyway, so if you got it wrong, we're going to go with the question. Question A, Suvat. Okay. A particle moves along a straight line with constant acceleration. Constant acceleration tells you use Suvat. Okay, constant acceleration. From point A to point B, where AB is 48 meter. At A, the particle's velocity is 4, and at B, velocity is 16. Find the acceleration of the particle. So we use v squared equals u squared plus 2as, the one without t. So 16 squared equals 4 squared plus 2a times 48. So 256 equals 16 plus 96a. Bring 16 over. 240 equals 96a. Divide 96. A is 2.5 meter per second squared. Okay. Part B, find time taken. Find time taken to find t. So you've got different options. V equals u plus at will be the simplest. You can use s equals ut plus half at squared as well if you prefer, but there are many options. So because you only need 3 pieces of information, you've got 4 pieces. That's why you've got options to choose which formula to use. But this one, I think it'll be easiest to use v equals u plus at. So v equals 4, 16 equals 4 plus a, 2.5 times t. So 12 equals 2.5t divided by 2.5, t equals 4.8 seconds. Okay, right. Exam practice, okay? Pause the video, have a go at the question, try to read the question and draw a diagram if you prefer, okay? Have a go at the question. When you're ready for the answer, you can press play. Here are the final answers. U is 14, T is 6. Got it right? Well done. End of lesson for you. Good job. Okay, if you don't, let's have a look. A lorry is moving along a straight horizontal road with constant acceleration. The lorry passes a point A with speed u meter per second, where, or you might be thinking, what is this u less than 34? It simply tells you you don't have to worry about this for now. Use less than 34. It means if you've got more than one answer, where one option, one answer, in a quadratic formula equation possibly, well, again, answer greater than 34, it tells you to reject it. So it's just a condition for you to know which u value to choose if you are given a u value to choose from. Okay, so don't worry about that for now. And 10 seconds later, it passes point B, so 10 seconds. Okay, with speed 34 meter per second, so we know that's 34 meter per second. Given that AB is 240 meters, find the value of U. So from question A, from A to B, Suvat SUVAT. I know S is 240, U is U, V is 34, A is unknown, T is 10. So the one without A is S equals U plus V times T over 2. So 240 equals U plus 34 times 10 divided by 2. What I'll do is I'll probably do 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So 240 equals 5 times U plus 34. Divided 5 over, it becomes 48 equals U plus 34. Subtract 34, U equals to 14 meter per second. Right? Part B. Find the time taken for the lorry to move from A to the midpoint of AB. Question for you. Can we use the same table? No. No. Because it's a different point, midpoint of AB. Let's call this point M. Okay, so we know is AM is 120 meters. Okay, and now we know U is 14. So we need a new Suvat table. So from A to M. Different points, different Suvat table. Okay, S 120. U, we start at 14. Is V 34? No. V is the final velocity at M, which we don't know. Okay, do we know anything about A? Well, we don't. And T, we want to work out. So here's a question for us. Now, if you look at the question, 6 marks. You know, it's not simple. So the question is, how many pieces of information do we need to set up a Suvat equation? We need 3 pieces of information. So we're missing out 1. So which one can we need to either find V or A. Now, which one is more logical to find? Hopefully you'll answer A. The reason being is it's a constant acceleration. It means the acceleration is the same throughout the whole journey. So you might want to write this down. Okay, constant acceleration. And here from the question means, acceleration is the same throughout the whole question, the whole journey. I would say question to make you understand a bit more. It's the same throughout the whole question. Therefore, the acceleration here would become the acceleration here. So let us find out acceleration from the first table. Okay, so in here, we're going to use V equals U plus AT. We know V is 34, U is 14, plus A times 10. 20 equals 10A. So A equals 2 meter per second squared. So this going now, we now know A is 2 meter per second squared. So therefore, we now have the information to work out T. So S equals UT plus a half AT squared. 120 equals 14 times T plus a half times 2 times T squared. So 120 equals to 14T plus T squared. Is a quadratic formula, a quadratic equation, move it over to negative. So 0 equals to T squared plus 14T minus 120. Okay, and you put in a calculator, it will give you T equals to negative 20 or 6. T is, of course, can't be negative, as we can't travel back in time. So that's the final answer. I believe that's the end of the lesson.